is a 6-month update to my personal Yeti SB6. Let's get at it. Hi guys, my name is Dom and this is Pittsburgh Active. Normally we would be talking about a bike review or a product review. Today it's going to be a little bit of a different angle, and we're going to be talking about my personal Yeti SB6 that I built 6 months back. We're going to talk about the bike, how I felt about the bike, and also some of the parts that I have placed on it. I hope you guys like it. As a point of reference, my daily driver is a first generation Santa Cruz 5010. It is a bike designed to handle 90% of the trails out there. Now I'm not going to lie, the first few times that I've rode the SB6, the length and the slackness of the bike was something that I had to get used to. The SB6 was designed for stability at speeds going downhill. This is a bike that needs room to stretch its legs, to go faster and faster. This is a bike that requires, that begs you for speed. The faster you go, the more alive this bike feels. One of the big reasons I've gotten this bike is that it gives me the ability to ride bike parks. This particular bike park is Snowshoe Mountain in West Virginia. This particular trail is called the Skyline Trail, and it is a jump trail. This is a trail that I wanted to make sure that I get to ride and train to be a better jumper. As you can see, I've got a lot of work to do in the jumping department. But that's the whole point, right? I got this bike so that it allows me to train to be a better overall mountain biker on the trail and in bike parks. That being said, do I feel like this bike is an overly poppy bike? I wouldn't say that. I believe that Yeti, in partnership with Jared Graves when they developed this bike, was built for, again, pure speed and stability. The maneuverability and cornering of this bike is worth noting. As I've mentioned before, the faster you go, the more this bike comes alive. This bike offers the right combination of the infinity switch rear end with a great fork, along with the right geometry. It allows you to be agile and stable at the same time through the berms and the whoops, going left and right and up and down. The Yeti SB6 comes with 152 millimeters of Switch Infinity suspension in the back and 160 millimeters of suspension in the front. The particular fork that I have chosen for my bike is the Öhlins RXF36. One thing to point out in the part spec that I've built with this bike is the Ibis 742 wheel set. While the rims have proven to be strong and reliable, The i9 torch hubs have proven so far that they are reliable, but man, they are loud. This is something at first I did like, but as you can hear in this video, it really does get, well, loud. I get that it's also a result of GoPro 5's recording, but really, if I was to build another wheel set, I would still go with the 742 IBIS wheel set. However, I would go with the new Onyx hubs that they have. I've never had it, I've never seen it, but the fact that they are silent with 0 degrees of engagement, it's pretty freaking awesome. That's fucking slippery. Now I know I haven't shown much chunk and gnar footage in this video. That is completely my fault. That is something that is an amateur error that I completely fess up to. I ran out of batteries. I really did. I actually was using my GoPro 5 in this video without a gimbal because the day before my gimbal broke. So, that being said, I hope the video is not too shaky. I actually thought that the GoPro 5 did very well with image stabilization, given the speed and the roughness of this track. I'll also admit that this is only my second time at a downhill park. My skill level has only allowed me to go down rough blue squares and black diamonds. It is something that I am proud of, but as a point of reference, that is where my skills are. That being said, this bike handled the gnar and the chunk very well. It is what you would expect from an infinity switch bike. Small bump sensitivity, mid-stroke support, and bottom out resistance were all great. This allowed me great traction on all surfaces that I have encountered during that day. Another part worth bringing up is the Öhlins RXF36 fork. This is a part that I often get questions in my videos, on Instagram, and on Facebook. So what can I say about the fork? Well, I can tell you that this fork overall feels laterally stiff. So far in the chunk that I have been able or skilled enough to handle, it has been proven to be great. As far as the adjustability of the fork, it is different than Fox or RockShox in that they only allow a range that is usable to the rider. Makes sense, right? For Fox and RockShox, you can dial your rebound all the way fast or all the way slow. In those very fast and very slow adjustments, they're basically unusable. As far as the Öhlins, every single click of adjustment that is provided to you are all usable settings. So something to really think about. If you really want to be able to play with your fork, this might not be the fork for you. The adjustments that are provided to you, certainly you can feel. However, they are much more minute when compared to Fox and RockShox. Another thing that differs between the Öhlins fork and Fox and RockShox is that it does not require volume spacers to control the progressivity of the suspension. I found this really handy in that the Öhlins only requires a shock pump. So as long as you have a shock pump in your bag, you can control the progressivity of your fork on the trail. I found this very helpful, especially when I would ride a normal trail and when I then rode a bigger, rougher hitting downhill track. I was able to adjust it very fast and very quickly. So how does the fork dampen? Well, a lot of reviews out there have said that they felt that the RXF36 feels over dampened. I don't necessarily feel that way. I felt like the small bump sensitivity was great, the mid-stroke support was good, and the bottom-out protection was even better. It is a solid fork all around, it's stiff, it provides you just enough adjustability, and the dampening is great. So do I love my bike? Absolutely. Would I be able to say that it is the best enduro bike out there? I cannot. Unlike the trail bike category, I do not have enough experience riding other enduro bikes out there. But I can tell you, the bike that I own is a bike that I love. That being said, would I consider this bike as a one bike quiver? Unfortunately, I do not think so. Is it possible to have this bike as a one bike quiver? Absolutely. However, it would be more ideal is that if you lived in the Alps, or Pisgah in North Carolina, or somewhere out west where there's big mountain riding all the time. The pedaling platform does afford you to be an efficient pedaler. However, the geometry itself that this bike offers is very specific to enduro and is gravity oriented. You will feel it most on technical switchback climbs with that slacker head angle, that it is not ideal for those types of situations. Now, would I consider this bike as a fantastic second bike in addition to a trail bike or a cross-country bike? Absolutely. With a trail bike and an enduro bike like this, you'll really be able to ride all-day cross-country rides to downhill rides that you have seen in this video. That being said, this is Pittsburgh Active. Check me out on Facebook and Instagram. Keep in touch. If you have any questions whatsoever, please comment below and I'll try to get back to them as soon as I can. I'll see you guys later.